Welcome back to Go Healthy for Good. Now there are so many sweeteners on the shelves. It's very confusing.
Indeed.
So we thought we'd bring them into the studio so that we could explore them together. So Dr. Reese and I are going to walk you through them, and we're going to start at we're going to look at the glycemic index. What's the glycemic index?
A simple way of thinking of it is really the quantity of sweetness, or the degree of sweetness of a substance.
Yeah, and then what it does to our kind of glucose after we eat it, right?
That's
so
right.
The higher it is, the worse it is if you have diabetes. Hopefully, if you don't have diabetes, then your insulin comes out and deals with it.
Your body will automatically accommodate your diet.
Right. So here we are. Here's a product that's called stevia in the raw, and that sounds like something that could be really healthy.
Sounds that way in the raw.
It does, doesn't it? But, you know, stevia is a natural sweetener. And if we start, these are all the natural ones at this end. Let's go down to the artificial end. So over here, we have saccharin. Now, this product is called, it's a sweetener. There's a number of these called sweetener. This one contains dextrose, which has actually got a very high glycemic index. And I'm going to have to move this one around a little bit. But it's got dextrose, which has a glycemic index of 100, which is actually quite high.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then it also has saccharin, which has a glycemic index of 0 because it's an artificial sweetener. Mm-hmm. So it also contains cream of tartar and calcium silicate. So I'm not sure that would be one that I'd want to
If I were diabetic, I wouldn't want to use that either.
Good.
I defer that one.
You'd defer that one because it's of the dextrose in there. This one is relatively new. It's called Nectras, that's the kind of trade name. It's got a substance called erythritol. Have you heard of erythritol?
I have, but I've never...
You've never met it. We'll have to taste one of these.
I've never tasted this.
Okay,
no.
we're going to taste it, and you'll have to tell me what you think. Erythritol is 70% as sweet as sugar, so it's a less sweet substance. So you can't actually use it on its own, really. You know, your recipe calls for a quarter cup of sugar. You put a quarter cup of this in.
Exactly.
It just doesn't really cut it. So it needs to be combined with other sweeteners. However, erythritol occurs naturally in foods like pears, watermelons, and grapes. It's a product of fermenting corn, but it's expensive. The process is an expensive process. And there are a whole bunch of sugar alcohols called like xylitol. I bet you've heard of xylitol, sorbitol, mannitol. Those are all sugar alcohols. But the beauty of erythritol, which is one of the later ones to come on the market, it does have a lower GI than the others, even though it's close to 0. And it's better absorbed. Because the other ones can cause diarrhea because they go the whole way through and they cause diarrhea. This one gets absorbed. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't raise your blood sugar. But it's...
So there are clearly some advantages here.
Right.
Compared with
an artificial sweetener.
Exactly.
That's right. And here's an artificial sweetener, aspartame. Again, it's mixed with dextrose. So that's another one. Have you heard of stevia?
I have, but I don't believe I've ever had stevia myself.
Oh, I think we're going to need a spoon for this one then, hey? Stevia is 200 times sweeter than sugar. So where the...
If I passed on this one, I should have really passed on this one too.
Well, but its glycemic index is 0.
That sounds good. So
it's got the sweetness, but it doesn't do anything to the blood sugar of a diabetic. And it's natural. So it's actually, they process the leaves of a plant called stevia. It's a shrub. You can grow it. And I love going out and picking it and just eating a leaf. It's so sweet. But they process the leaves and then they turn it into a powder. And both of these products contain a combination of the erythritol and stevia because the taste is better. So let me see what you think. We're going to flip the lid on this and try that.
pretty sweet.
It is sweet, isn't it?
It is
sweet. Yeah, so you don't need very much, and
No.
it's sweet. And it's not got a bad taste. And, you know, another product that we see on the shelves is Rebiana, which is the trade name for a derivative of stevia, which we see in this. Then we have agave, which is what we used in our recipe today.
Uh-huh.
And agave comes from a cactus. Do you want to try this? I like agave.
I'll try that too.
Have you eaten it before?
I have not eaten it
Oh,
before.
so actually, I'll give you a fresh spoon because that's got some of that stevia
I have a
on it.
stevia agave kind of
That's right. That might be
combination.
too much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can pop that spoon down there.
This actually tastes very nice.
It is nice. And the beauty of this, it's got a glycemic index of 15, which is not very high. So I love pouring that on my pancakes and my waffles.
This is very nice.
It is. It's lovely. You're going to have to tell that lovely wife of yours how much you like agave.
I'll have to pick up a bottle for me.
Yeah, and then dates. Dates are a great sweetener.
Yeah.
But the glycemic index is getting up there now. It's 42. Do you have your patients use dates for sweetening or?
Not particularly, but again, I like people if the option is have some fruit or something like that rather than having simple, pizza or hamburgers or so. This is obviously better, even though the glycemic index may be a little elevated.
Right.
So it's really a matter of balancing choices.
Absolutely, and as you say, fruit, if we look at banana, the glycemic index is 62. For dates, it's 42. And then another sweetener that people often use, they'll put raisins in their oatmeal.
Yes.
That has a glycemic index of 64. So there's a balance around there. So it's very close to banana. So this is actually not a bad choice. Then we have honey, glycemic index of 50. And then another favourite of mine is
Maple syrup?
maple syrup. You like it?
Pancakes.
Pancakes.
That's right.
That's right. Glycemic index much the same as honey. So you can see that the agave with 15.
This is a winner.
It is, isn't it? It's got a lovely flavour and it's got a low GI. The molasses is up here, so these are all about the same, 50, 54, 55. Sugar is 65.
Wow.
So that's a good point of comparison because we all have sugar in the cup. Well, yeah. And then there's maple sugar, which has even higher, 68. So it's right up there. You think, oh, that's a natural thing, it's maple sugar, but it's sugar. And then we've got stevia in the raw, which is a combination of dextrose and stevia. And dextrose, remember, had the glycemic index of 100. So your vote is agave.
This is my vote.
Wow. So Dr. Rees recommends agave. You're going to have to try it. In just a minute, I'm going to answer some questions you've sent me during our previous show, but first, let's watch another Ageless Advantage.